Writers. Pen crowns vision. Greetings to you all. Welcome to Creative Writers. Pen crowns vision. I feel like sharing my experience of creative writers. Creative writers is a seed sowed not now. It was sowed a couple of decades back, way back in 1980s. When I was in lower classes, my English teacher, Mrs. Goldina, used to motivate, telling the children, write something creatively. Write something creatively. She doesn't like students writing from the book or notebook. She wants children to write on their own. Creativity was the mantra. I had not a joyous and happy childhood days. I was engulfed in plenty of miseries. And the only way to express my feelings was to scribble something, to vent out my anger, my feelings, my sorrows, my joys, my sadness, everything. Somewhere to express my feelings on something and everything. There was a day I used to write on cactus, tree barks, eucalyptus leaves, even on papayas, and many other things. Earlier, I used to write and didn't preserve properly. Later, I thought of preserving, hence, wrote all the scribblings in a diary and presented by my dad. Later, sent them to the various journals, magazines, newspapers, and some of them got published. I was happy. Not only this, I made my students of my class to write creatively and publish in various magazines. Now let us see something. After writing, when the material got published, I started to maintain it. A few got missed, but after that, I preserved properly, writing the content page, like poem, where it got published, like magazine, journals, anthologies, which month and year. For example, first poem got published in 1996, even before some of them got published and gone away. And which page number and when did I receive? It means receival, postal date. So for example, my first poem, My Gardener Universe, Lessons Learned, Export Import, Consigns, Widow, Last Voyage, etc. Like that it goes. And like poem, which journal, like that. First poem is My Garden, a Universe, published in Inspirational Quote Monthly Magazine, December 1996. Lessons Learned in Inspirational Quote, February 1997. Next, Export Import Monthly Magazine, 1997 March. Consigns Monthly Magazine Inspirational Quote, April 1997. Widow Bridge in Making Biannual. Editor Mr. Pranab Kumar Majumdar. Next, Last Voyage in Poet Monthly, edited by Dr. Krishna Srinivas, June 2000. Understand, published in Bridge in Making, Anthology, Millennium 2000, edited by Mr. Pranab Kumar Majumdar. Next one, Question, published in Poets International, edited by Dr. M. Fakhruddin. Next, Inspirational Quote, poem, United Nation, page number 11. Next poem is Nature, published in Poets International, editor Dr. M. Fakhruddin. Next poem is Every Inch a Soldier, in the journal Poet Crit, biannual, edited by Mr. D. C. Chambial. Inspirational quote, God, September 2000. Next poem is We Think, published in Indian Poets United, IPU Anthology, August 2000. Next one is Skylark India, poem is United World. Next one, Mother Earth Weeps, published in Poet Monthly, edited by Dr. Krishna Srinivas. Next poem is Gandhi, Thy Name Mahatma, published in Inspirational Quote, October 2000. Next one is Lonely Island, published in Bridge in Making, edited by Mr. Pranab Kumar Majumdar. Next one, Withered Flower, published in Poet. Next, Voice of Calcutta, poem Students. And Leave Me poem, published in Cyber Literature. Next, Protect Motherland, published in The Brainwave. Next, Gain, published in Poets International. Next, Trees, published in Art and Poetry Today. Next, Hard Labor, published in Scoria Monthly, edited by Mr. Krishna Kumar from Orissa. Next, Never Passes Away, published in Scoria, edited by Dr. Krishna Kumar Mishra. Next, None Cares, published in Scoria. Next, Life, published in Metaverse Muse by Annual, edited by Dr. H. Tulsi. Next, Disappointed Interview, published in Rock Pebbles. Next, Watching, published in Poets International Monthly. Next, Pollution a Solution, published in the anthology by Bizbuzz. Next poem is Final Flickering of Candle, published in Poesy India International. Next, Revealing, published in Poetcrit Quarterly, edited by Dr. D.Z. Chambial. Next, Brainwave, poem is Less Sorrows, edited by Professor Jagannathan. Next, Indo-Asian Literature, published the poem Season. Next poem is Gone Away, published in The Quest, edited by Dr. Ravi Nandan Sinha. Next is a Wedding Wish of Murugesan. Then My Heart, published in Bridge in Making, edited by Mr. Pranab Kumar Majumdar. Next poem is Farewell, published in Shine. Next, Equal, published in Canopy, edited by Dr. I.H. Ruzvi, Uttarakhand. Next, Odd Soul, published in Poet, February 2001. Next, Foxy Lover, published in The Brainwave, edited by Professor K. Jagannathan. Next, My Friend's Heart, published by The Green Lotus, edited by Mr. Mandal Bijoy Beg. My Friend's Heart, published in Voice of Calcutta. This Day, published by Samavedana, by Annual, December 2000. Next, Beyond the Unknown. Here is a review, published in Monthly. Book was written by Mr. R.A. Janakiraman. Next poem is Creation, published in The Golden Vase, edited by Mr. Mandal Bijoy Beg. Next, Space Travel, published in The Brainwave, edited by Professor K. Jagannathan. Next poem is Created Tree, published in The Brainwave. Next, Ill Earned Money, published in Bridge in Making, Quarterly, January to April. Created Tree. Then Gain, published in Poets International 2001 anthology, edited by Dr. M. Fakhruddin. Next, Friendship, published in Poets International, edited by Dr. Fakhruddin. Next, Designs, published in Blossoms anthology, edited by Mr. Ravinandan Sinha, Ranchi. Next poem is Explore Yourself, edited by Dr. Krishna Srinivas, Poet. Next, Happiness, published by Dr. H. Tulsi in Meteor's Muse. Next, This Day, published in Poetcrit Quarterly, edited by Mr. D.C. Chambial. Next, Explore Yourself, published in Those Korea, edited by Mr. Krishna Kumar Mishra from Chandigarh. Next poem is Stop Burning Ravana, published in Those Korea. Next, Gracious Lord, published in Millennium Peace Anthology, edited by Mr. Paulos. Next one is Ex-Im, the Export Import, published in the Poet Monthly, edited by Dr. Krishna Srinivas. Next poem is Mask Personality, published in The Brainwave. Here there is a review about my book, Leaves of Olive, reviewed by Dr. Rabindranath Menon. Next, another one review about the book, The Unseen River, Professor Jagannathan's book, I have reviewed. Next one is The Inner Voice, published the poem, Mother Created a Robber. Next, Leaves of Olive, my book, reviewed by Mr. Bernard M. Jackson from London. Next, Sculptor, poem published in Poetry Chain. Next poem, Blind Leads, published in Bridge in Making. Next, She, published in Rock Pebbles, Orissa. Classroom Garden, published in Voice of Calcutta. Unsatisfied Human, published in Canopy. Crackers from Tears, published in Replica. Peace Plan, published in Millennium Mood. Leaves of Olive, my book, reviewed by Mr. Damal Khannan. Next, Retirement, published in Kafla Intercontinental, edited by Mr. Dev Bradwaj. Next, Heavy Heart, published in Poets International, edited by Dr. M. Fakhruddin. Next, Moon Shines with the Sun, edited by Mr. M. Ramalingam, Shine Magazine. Next World War, published in Poet Monthly, edited by Dr. Krishna Srinivas. Next, Poverty, published in Metos Muse. Love All, published in Cyber Literature. Then here, Leaves of Olive, review done by Dr. Kumar Chandradeep. Casteless India, poem published in The Inner Voice. Leaves of Olive, review published in The Inner Voice. Deserted India, poem published in Poet Monthly. Next, Cricketer, published in The Korea. Meaningless Fight, published in The Korea. Raksha Bandhan, published in The Korea. Enjoyment in Others, published in the anthology Heaven 2001. So-Called Society, published in Heaven 2001. Wicked, poem published in Heaven 2001. Funeral Ceremony, poem published in Canopy. Laughter, published in Bridge in Making Anthology. Farewell, published in Ars Poetica. Earthquake, published in Voice of Calcutta. Review by Jane Caleb, published in Voice of Calcutta. Leaves of Olive book. Voice I Hear, published in Poetry Globe Anthology. Child of India, published in Bridge in Making. Review of Leaves of Olive, my book, published in The Green Lotus. Boundless, published in Third Dimension. Change, poem, published in We the World Poets Anthology. Review of the book Leaves of Olive, written by Mr. Bernard M. Jackson, published in Poet. Donate and Save Others, poem, published in Poet, May 2002. Review of Unseen River by Mr. Ramalingam, published in Poet. Lifeless Corpse, poem published in The Inner Wave. So-Called Society, published in The Inner Voice. Review of the book Leaves of Nationalism, written by Brinda, published in Poet. Terrible Day, poem published in Shine. Review of Leaves of Olive, published in Shine. Sunday, published in Voice of Calcutta. Silence in Session, published in Poet. Retirement, published in Samavedana. Child of India, published in Indo-Asian Literature magazine. This Day, published in Edizioni Universum. Seasons, published in Metvos Muse. Eternal Search, published in Shine. Review of the book Leaves of Nationalism, published in Green Lotus. Independence, published in Metvos Muse. Happy Children's Day in Dalhousie Public School, Himachal Pradesh. Farewell from Triveni Academy. Happy Children's Day, Akshara Vidyashram. Farewell, DPS. Farewell, Jisha. Seminar. Review, Poetess of Millennium. Deepavali Crackers, published in Indian Express. Celebrate, published in The Indian Express. Happy Children's Day, published in The Indian Express. Manavar Malar Dinamalar. Manavar Malar Dinamalar. Tsunami, published in Poet. Wedding Greetings, Benita and Vijay. Shoot All Animals, published in E-Newspaper. Inspirational Quote. Lamentation of Mom, published in Poet. Fish, published in Ars Poetica Indiana. Award, Poets International. Dinamalar team Manavar Malar. Shoot Animals, poetry competition from Deccan Chronicle newspaper. I See, published in Metvos Muse. To All the Pakistan Brothers and Sisters, poem published in Poet. Teachers' Day poem, published in Dinamala. Vigilance Awareness Week, article published in the Indian Express. Announcement of Dinamala. Lessons from Nature, published in Bridge in Making. I Love My India, published in the Indian Express. I See, published in Metvos Muse. Struggle in Tsunami, published in Shine. Contribution to Orphanage, Dinamala. Laughing is Essential, article published in Avantika magazine. Advice, published in Green Lotus. If not you, then who? Published in Poet. Love for Motherland, poem published in Poet. To All the Pakistan Brothers and Sisters, published in Rock Pebbles. Wedding Wish, Love for Motherland, published in Bridge in Making. In the next episode, we will see how students have contributed, how students have become authors, how their articles, poems have got published in various magazines, newspapers, and other things.